crazy fast-paced compared to some creators out there, but I'm already going too fast. But I still do things that are relatively fast-paced, especially talking. I feel like I'm a pretty fast talker just because I have a lot of things I want to say, and I don't want it to take a million years to say them all. But it was requested that I make a faster-paced video, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try my best to make a slower-paced video. That's also why I'm whispering. Normally I do like a soft-spoken. That's not even really that soft-spoken. But I figured, slow-paced kind of goes hand-in-hand with whispering, being a little quieter. So that's what we're doing. That's what I'm trying to do. Anyway, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I already feel like I'm going too fast. So I'm going to try to, this is just the introduction. I'm just explaining. So I guess I need to actually start doing it now. So here we go. Okay. I don't even know. Maybe I should be closer to the microphone. I don't know. Should I be closer to the microphone? I should probably be closer to the microphone so that it's really intense. I don't know. I guess I can tap on things that's behind the microphone. I gotta go slow. This is a Gulu battery. I think I've had the case. The case is right here. I think I've had the case. I've used the case to make sounds before. But I don't know if I ever actually showed the battery. But this is the battery. You can start your car with this thing. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty crazy. It's just this little thing. It's super light. It's super small. And, yeah. It will jump your car if it's completely dead. There's a hair in my mouth. We're good. It'll jump your car, even if it's completely dead. It doesn't need to have any electricity at all. Obviously, this has to be charged up, but it keeps its charge, so it's pretty easy to just charge it and then leave it in your car. It has helped me out on many occasions. The battery in my car is really bad, and so I've had to use this quite a few times. It works perfectly every time. I've never had any problems with it. And it's a lot more convenient than having to get another car to come and jump your car for you. Still trying to get the hang of this whole slow-paced thing. Anyway. I'm a little outside my comfort zone here. Not necessarily comfort zone, I guess, but it's definitely not what I'm used to doing. I'm really having to hold myself back here because I'm just really used to just talking normally. And I can't do that here. So, yeah. Hopefully, the person that requested this is enjoying it so far. I have a feeling that it is not going to live up to what they were expecting, but I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, it's got a flashlight on the front, as you can see, a couple USBs. So you can charge your phone with it. This will charge your phone 100 times. So you can use it as just a big power bank, which is pretty cool. I've never really used the flashlight, but I guess it's cool that it's there. Let's see how much charge it has currently. It is at 3 bars. The reason I have it in my room rather than in my car is because the power went out times, like from 0 to full, essentially. And it only used like a quarter of this battery, so yeah, you can charge your phone a lot with this thing. Granted, that is my phone, and my phone doesn't hold a lot of electricity anymore. It dies very quickly. Its battery health is at like 50% or something, so I guess maybe you would only be able to get half as many charges with like a really fresh phone, but still, it's a pretty cool device. I highly recommend. I probably mentioned this the last time I used the case, but the reason I bought this one in particular was because there's a channel on YouTube called Project Farm, and this guy reviews like a bunch of like power tools mostly, but he tests like a bunch of stuff. Honestly, it's pretty insane, but his videos are really enjoyable to me, even though I don't use like power tools at all. Really, I'm not like a construction worker or anything, like, and I don't do like home projects and stuff like where I'm constantly building things or anything. I just like watching his videos because I find them really interesting, and he does a really good job of like presenting the information. I like his videos a lot, but he did a video where he compared a bunch of handheld car starters to see which one worked the best, and the Gulu 4000, the Gulu GP 4000, if you can see that there, because there's a 2000 model that it's a little bit weaker, but the 4000 was like 100 times better than like every other option. So I was like, well, I mean, if I'm gonna get one, because you know, that was one of the few instances where I was actually watching the video and like I was actually planning on buying the thing that he was reviewing because I needed one for my car because it was running out of battery so often. So I was like, well, I might as well just get the best one. It really wasn't that expensive, and when I bought it, it was on sale. So, yeah, it was a good purchase. I highly recommend. And since buying this one, I was so impressed by it, and I impressed my family members so much with it that like all of them have gone out and bought one for their own car just in case. They don't have cars that are constantly dying like mine is, but it's still just a good thing to have. So yeah, I highly recommend. I'm not sponsored by Gulu or anything. It's just a good product. But here's the case. I can make sounds with the case. I feel like I'm not going that slow again. I just realized. I don't know. I feel like maybe the whispering on its own. I don't know, that's kind of... I'm not sure. I was going to say that maybe the whispering on its own is enough to like make it feel slow-paced, but yeah, I'm not sure. But this is the case that it comes with. It's just a little carrying case. It comes with some cables and things. It comes with some jumper cables for your car, so you don't have to buy those separately. So yeah, and the case itself is pretty nice. It's just like a hard case. I don't know what these are called, but it's like covered in fabric, but it's like a classic hard case. I don't know what it's made out of exactly. There's probably some kind of plastic in there or something, but there's fabric on both sides. I mean, you've probably come into contact with a hard case before. It's the kind of case that you might get with like a pair of nice headphones or something, you know. Or you might have something like this for like your laptop. Although, I don't know if hard cases are super common for laptops. Do people still use laptops? Sorry. I don't know. I feel like laptops are becoming a little obsolete at this point. I mean, that's probably not entirely true. I'm sure a lot of people still use laptops, but like phones are this point, and they're way smaller and lighter and more convenient to carry around at all times. So it's kind of just use your phone. I don't know. There are still some things that you can't do on a phone that you can do on a laptop, but I'm sure that will change as time continues. I don't know, maybe not. I'm not 100% sure how like all of that stuff works. But yeah, who knows? Who knows? I mean, things continue to get better and smaller, so I mean, who knows what's gonna happen? Who knows? But yeah, I remember when I was in high school, sorry, I don't know if you could hear that. When I was in high school, they had us get laptops because they just wanted us to have laptops, I guess, for like homework and stuff. Honestly, I mean, in like freshman year, that was like the first time I had ever owned a laptop. So like it was cool, and I feel like I went out of my way to use it freshman year because it was like this new thing, right? Like it seemed cool, so like I wanted to use it, even though I didn't really need to use it. Like paper would have been just fine. But like after freshman year, like I never really even used my laptop. I would always just use my phone for things. Now, I don't know if that's like a great indication of like the capabilities of the phone versus the laptop. I was a pretty, vast underachiever when it came to school. So like I wasn't super worried about like giving it my all and trying really hard. So using my phone instead of my laptop wasn't like a huge trade-off, right? I don't know. But still, it worked. You can get like Google Docs on your phone, and it works exactly the same. The only thing that's different between them is like the view. It is a little tricky to like understand how it's going to appear on like a traditional like screen when you're using it on your phone, because it doesn't look exactly the same. But I mean, I made it work. And it worked fine. So I'd argue that at least in that sense, the laptop was unnecessary. And I just really enjoyed not having to lug my laptop around, because the laptop I had was really shitty and really heavy, and it was not fun to carry around in my backpack. It was much worse than using my phone. And honestly, I think my phone was probably faster than my laptop, at least at certain things. I don't know. I mean, I guess, again, there were things that I had to use my laptop for, so like video projects and stuff like that. Like you wanted to edit a video together, you can't really do that on a phone, at least not to the level of quality of doing something on a laptop or on a desktop. I mean, I think you can get like iMovie on your phone, but I don't know if it's like the full iMovie suite, or if it's just like a dumbed down version of it. I don't know. There probably are some paid apps that you can get on your phone that are fairly decent at video editing, but yeah, it's never going to compare to something like, the Adobe products, or like Final Cut Pro or something like that, like a true, like professional, like video editing software. But that's just the way things are. But like I said, I feel like we'll definitely get to that point where your phone is powerful enough to do things like that. I mean, it's already pretty crazy. Like the games that you can play on your phone nowadays is insane. Now, I don't play these games on my phone just because my phone already is old, and it doesn't have the room. I have to save all the room I have for the videos, all the storage, and these games are always like a fucking 100 gigabytes. I don't know how anyone even manages to like have them downloaded on their phone. I guess there's, more storage in phones nowadays than there used to be, but even still, like games like Call of Duty Mobile or like PUBG Mobile, where it's just like, it's like a console experience, like the graphics are insane, and it's just like, it just works. It's insane. It's insane. Growing up, my family had a Wii, and I always wanted to play games like Call of Duty and stuff. Growing up a boy, I was into that sort of stuff. I mean, I still am. And the options were not quite as robust on the Wii as they were on like the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 3. So I always wanted an Xbox 360, but we had a Wii and we never got an Xbox 360. But there were some Call of Duty games that came out on the Wii, but I'm pretty sure they were made by a different company, or at least like a different company was brought in to port the game over to the Wii, because they were mostly similar. The version on the Wii versus the version on all the other platforms. But there were some subtle differences between them. Most importantly being the graphics were a lot worse, but then also some like things weren't in. So like for instance, Modern Warfare 3 was one of the games that I played a lot on the Wii when I was younger. And in the Wii version, there's not like the Predator missile. That wasn't a kill streak in that game. Interestingly enough, if you had like hacked your Wii and you could like hack the game, apparently the Predator missile was actually in the game files, because people would actually use them. I think it was canceled. I think it was taken out of the game because like when you call in the Predator missile, you're like looking top down at the whole map, and I don't think the Wii was really capable of like rendering the whole map all at once. Because anytime you tried to use the Predator missile on the Wii version, it like bugged out, but you could still use it. It still worked. It just didn't look very good. The point I'm trying to make about all of this, I know, weird tangent. That was, I don't know how many years ago. I guess it was like 2012. So, about 11 years ago. And that was a Wii release. That was a Wii game, and the Wii was a major console. Like, that was, you bought the Wii, and it was like, that was your game console. Like, it was designed to play games and only play games. Like, that was the point. And the games that you can play today on your phone are like a million times better visually and functionally than the games that you could play on the Wii at that time. Like, that's just insane. And the Wii was this like huge like piece of hardware. I mean, not huge. It was admittedly a good bit smaller than like the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. But it's a lot bigger than a phone. Like, that's just the crazy part. It's just like the fact that you can play these games on your phone and they look insane. Like, it's just crazy. It's crazy how far we're coming, like, technologically, to where, like, the thing you can have in your pocket, like, that's a huge, like, overused statement. Like, oh, a computer in your pocket, like, that's what your phone is. It's like, a lot of people say that, but I don't think a lot of people actually appreciate just how, like, fucking insane it really is. It's like, yeah, it is fucking insane. Like, it is a computer in your pocket, and it's a fucking good one too. It's like, I don't know, it's just weird. It's just pretty crazy. I mean, there's that whole thing. I forget the name of it. I don't know. It's a guy's name. it's the guy's name and then the law. But it was the idea that like computational power is like doubled every 2 years or something like that. From what I understand, I think it has slowed down since that like idea was thought up. I mean, it wasn't really thought up. I guess it was just a fact that every 2 years things got twice as good. That was made like back in, I'm not even going to pretend to know. I'm going to assume like the 80s or the 90s. But yeah, I think it has slowed down, but it's still pretty crazy just how much things improve over time, and that now we're getting like into the AI age. So I feel like it's pretty likely that eventually we're gonna have like, you know, in phones and computers and laptops now you have like your CPU and then you have like your GPU. The CPU handles like most things that the computer does, and then the GPU is more for like graphical like computation, right? It's also just like a stronger processor essentially. So like if you're video editing, for instance, you know, it'll draw from the GPU to make the playback smoother or whatever. It's just an extra processor that handles specific types of processing. I feel like there's going to be a third chip introduced because of AI. I feel like there's going to be an AI chip in like pieces of hardware going forward that handles AI computation, because a lot of people don't realize that AI, I realize that I'm actually talking at my normal speed again. I'm sorry, I have a lot of things I like to talk about, and this video, we're running out of time. Honestly, I deleted a lot of things off my phone, so this video actually can go on for a little bit longer than normal. That's why we're at 24 minutes right now. Probably more like 23 to you, but yeah, it's not over yet. Anyway, I'm sorry. We were slow for a little bit there, I'd like to think. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not even going to attempt to keep it up, honestly. At least I'm whispering still. At least you have that. But yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize how like computationally expensive AI things are. It's not cheap and it's not fast. I mean, it's fast when you compare it to doing it just manually by yourself, right? Like, so you've got like Stable Diffusion, for instance, which can produce images made by AI, right? If I was going to try to make an image that matched the quality of something Stable Diffusion could make, it would take me way longer. So AI is still fast in that sense, but anyone that's actually used Stable Diffusion will know that AI is still not like instantaneous. It still takes like about a minute, depending on the settings you use, to generate a single image. And it also takes like pretty extensive hardware. I've got a decent computer because I do like 3D stuff. And even my setup like is not optimally like set up. Like it takes a lot of VRAM. I don't know. This is getting into like very specific computer jargon. I mean, it's not super fancy. I think a lot of people probably know what VRAM is, but there's probably a few people that don't. I'm not gonna get into the whole specifics because honestly, I don't even really know what all of it means and whatnot. But the point I'm trying to make is that my setup, I've got a 3070 Ti. That's my graphics card. It has 8 gigabytes of VRAM, which I don't really know where that falls in the realm of like a lot or a little. I think it's probably close to the middle of the spectrum. It might even be a little bit on the lower end nowadays because you've got some pretty crazy cards like the 4090, which has like 24 gigabytes, I'm pretty sure, of VRAM, which is insane. I mean, 8 gigabytes is a lot when you look back like 5 years, but nowadays it might not be that much. But the point I'm trying to make is that it's not a cheap card, it's not a cheap setup, and I mean, this AI stuff is like maxing out the capabilities of this graphics card. So it's computationally expensive. It is not something that like you can just do on your phone. A lot of people, well, I mean, you could do it on your phone, I guess, but you wouldn't. I don't know. Yeah, the thing is that a lot of people, there are like websites like DALL-E was pretty big. I don't know if you can still use that or not, but you could do that on your phone. You can do ChatGPT on your phone. The thing is that you are like tapping into a server, and the server is doing all of the computation. So your phone isn't actually doing any of the computation in that scenario. But still, but that's just my not belief, my prediction. That is my prediction. I think unless the only stipulation is that if AI technology is forcibly like stunted, like if we stop the production of AI things for whatever reason, there's plenty of reasons why we would maybe want to not develop AI anymore. So if something like that happens, then yeah, we're not going to see AI chips in phones and computers and stuff. But if AI continues to progress at the rate that it is, I feel pretty confidently that at some point we're going to have, processors in devices that are specifically designed for AI workloads. But that's just my prediction. I could be wrong. I mean, currently right now it's basically just using the GPU in your system, so I guess we'll just continue to get better GPUs potentially, but I don't know. I guess it just depends on how much AI really like seeps into the public, like into the mainstream. Because if it's something that, starts being used in like more and more things, which it is currently, I could see it necessitating the like, because like right now, like I said, it's using the GPU in your device for the most part. And that works because you already have a GPU, and GPUs are pretty powerful. But, if it got to a point where like your phone was constantly doing something using AI for whatever reason, like in the background, like you probably wouldn't want that drawing from your GPU all the time, especially when you're doing something else on your phone that requires usage of the GPU, right? That's when you would want to have a third chip that the AI can use, and that frees up the other, Anyway, that's my prediction. So, I said it here. I mean, it's not a necessarily novel idea, but I did say it, and that was my idea. So, when it happens, make me into a fortune teller. Who's that guy? Nosferatu. He made like a bunch of predictions, and now people think he's like, he predicted everything. It's like, how hard is it really? Like I'm gonna do that. All you have to do is make a bunch of predictions about literally anything, but they need to be very specific, because the more specific a prediction is, when it comes true, it seems more crazy, right? And then everyone will just ignore all the times that you were like completely wrong. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about at this point. Hopefully this video was good. If you like whispers more than soft-spoken, then this should have been a great video for you. To the person that requested a slower paced video, hopefully the first half of this video was sufficient. It's just not something I'm very good at. I'm sorry. Like I said, I have a lot of things I want to say and talk about, and I just, as I'm speaking, I fall into just my natural cadence and everything, and I can't help it. I'm sorry. It's too hard to stop myself from just talking normally, at my normal pace. So I tried. I feel like I failed a little bit, but hopefully it was still entertaining or tingly or whatever you watch these videos for. Yeah. Well, thanks for watching. This video's been a little bit longer than usual because, like I said, I did delete some things off my phone, so I had a little bit more space. So that's cool. And wow, right on time, the thing just started popping up. Anyway, I guess I will catch you later. Thanks for watching. See ya.